New homologation documents filed with Australia suggest the replacement of the 2025 Kawasaki Versys 1000S, extremely similar to the Versys 1000 SELT+, with a new Versys 1100S. This could very well be one of the biggest name changes. Kawasaki filed the type with the marketing name of Versys 1100S and model number of KLZ 1100B, but with no further information included in the filing documents at this time. These filings tend to have some fairly specific requirements like power, size, tire information, and even images of the motorcycle that is the subject of the permission, but in the case all of those fields are blank. However, there are some hints. Nevertheless, this new Versys 1100S and the one it replaces, the Versys 1000S, aren't going to be all that different, and farther on, the papers say that KLZ 1100B is just a variation of KLZ 1000B, which is an already serving type. There are numerous reference numbers referring to other documents proving that the bike meets certain demands, instead of KLZ 1100B, starting with KLZ 1000B being the reference numbers for those other documents. On that matter, according to the documentation, brakes, tires, and dimensions are the same, just as the lights, mirrors, and instruments. What's more, the paper on the achievement of the noise criteria is even labeled KLZ 1000B, which means that, with a name change, even though the 1100 will no longer be called so named, it should still have had the same displacement of the Versys 1000 in use today. That is nothing new at all. The Suzuki V-Strom 1000 was, until recently, renamed to the V-Strom 1050 despite the displacement remaining at 1037 cc. Perhaps the bike could be called the 1100 without actually changing the capacity of the engine, since the Kawasaki Versys 1000 is technically larger at 1043 cc. It makes a great deal of marketing sense to rebrand the Versys 1100 since many of its competitors, the V-Strom 1050, Honda Africa Twins 1100 and NT 1100, are presently being touted as having bigger engines than the Versys, even if said displacement is only by a few more cubic centimeters. Since the Ninja 1000 SX and Z1000 share the same 1043cc four-cylinder found in so many of Kawasaki's other models, it would follow that their stablemates would gain the same sort of updates were that displacement to increase. The Versys 1000S is the only derivative of the motorcycle available on the Aussie market right now, which explains doubtless why the Australian homework only reflects the Versys 1100S, sans base or SE derivatives. Those same base and SE models, available elsewhere in the world, will no doubt also get that same 1100 rebranding for 2025. For its part, the Kawasaki Versys inline engine is already more than 1000 cc with just 4 cylinders. 1043 cc, to be exact. 77 mm for the bore, 56 mm for the stroke. Assuming a 79 mm bore equates to the proven engine probably having 1100 cc, if the stroke stays the same, minimum effort on the part of the manufacturer. Precisely, 1099 cc. The rareness, not uncommon, is changes to the crankshaft and stroke. Be that as it may, peak output at 9,000 revolutions per minute would rise to about 135 horsepower, 99 kilowatts. Australian transport authorities have not been given documentation on the expected rise in torque. For the time being, the major specifications of the Versys 1000 are 120 horsepower, 88 kilowatts, at 9,000 revolutions per minute and 102 Newton meters at 7,500 revolutions per minute. The Australian Transport Authority lists the new Kawasaki Versys 1100 as weighing 241 kilograms ready to ride. That's a full 12 kilograms lighter than the old Versys 1000, which tips the scales at 253 kilograms ready to ride with quoted tank capacity of 21 liters. Or at least that could be the way of it. It could quite conceivably come down to creative interpretations of what constitutes ready-to-ride weight, particularly tank capacity. If the prototype shots are anything to go by, there's fat chance the Versys 1100 will be lighter. It won't become an off-road enduro, only a strongly revised vehicle and concept, in which the front will still sport 17-inch road wheels and 180/55 ZR17 tires in the back, according to the crossover concept. On the other side, the new Kawasaki Versys 1100 will surely be fitted with all state-of-the-art assistance technologies. The range-topping Versys 1100 SE will get a radar system at both front and rear, as well as electronically controlled chassis parts. Ninja 1000 SX Touring and the H2 SX siblings have used radar and a front camera for automated low beams already. First pictures of the Versys 1100 does not show anything for which.